Good day, guys. Austin here, and in this one today, it's EMU-NATION. So what we're going to be doing is looking at emulators, front ends, gaming, and all that jazz. So welcome, my friend. And in this episode today, we're going to be looking at, first off, Xenia. Oh my heebie-jeebies. This emulator has come on leaps and bounds. There's been some huge leaps forward and people coming up with strange new ideas, which has taken this to the next level. So we'll be looking at that in just a second. In terms of Cemu then, I feel like I'm talking about Cemu all the time, because that's what's happening with this emulator. The developers over there just keep on throwing things out for it, and you'll see in a second just what is about to be unveiled in the next 24 hours. Okay then, and LaunchBox, we touched base on this last week, and in fact, again, this is one of them subjects that I keep on going back to time and time again. If you've been keeping tabs on my Facebook channel, you'll be up in the loop on this one, but, well, you'll see in just a second. So I've got that, and I've got some disturbing news that I didn't want to be bringing to you guys. It's in relation to an actual arcade maker of all them things, but we'll touch base in that in just a second. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay then, guys, first up, and we got some emulation news, and this is Xenia. What a little emulator. Now, over the last couple of weeks, if not even months, this has been a sleeping giant. It's been living dormant under a mat somewhere. People have been feeding it little updates, people have been feeding it bug fixes, but what it hasn't done is unleash its mighty roar that it had, well, a few months back when it was, I don't know, groundbreakingly playing games that have never been played before. Huge leaps in developments, and we've been sat here neglected and waiting for some kind of updates. Well, over the last few days they have come, and they've come in leaps and bounds. The biggest development that has brought this forward is the introduction of a new branch, and that branch is Vulkan. In other words, what they've done is they've taken the Xenia build and they've added Vulkan capabilities to it. Vulkan, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like another version of OpenGL DirectX. It's a kind of way of programming language into the way it brings and populates the art, all the kind of visual effects that you see on the screen. It's the way that it puts it out there. I know that's me talking in layman's terms and very much oversimplifying it. However, it's just a way of me explaining this development. Now, what this has done, this is a groundbreaking new API, they call them, and it's the last time we saw this was when the PlayStation 3 emulator started using this kind of stuff, and that itself come up to full speed. Now, with the introduction of this, we're now seeing games that could I don't know, they were not bootable, they were not doing anything, there was all kinds of glitches, artifacts, and one of the main drawbacks was the speed of the games. Now, with the introduction of this Vulkan and working as a branch of the Xenia, what's happening is that we're now seeing huge frames per second increases in games, almost to the, well, in some cases, to the standard of them being fully functional in terms of speeds. Now, let's not beat around the bush here. We're not going to be looking at our entire 360 catalogue. There is still a huge mountain to climb for this emulator. But in terms of speed, we are there. What needs to happen now is concentrate more on the bug fixes, concentrate more on the glitches, the graphics, the shaders, all that kind of good stuff to make it look like we remembered it back on the 360 days. But in terms of actual emulator progression, Jesus wept. This is huge. This is landmark in the Xenia world. So yeah, that's the Xenia. Alright then, moving on then. Cemu. It feels like I talk about this every week. In fact, I'll probably talk about this in every video, in every post that I make on Facebook. It's unbelievable. And that's all due to the developers over there. They are tirelessly working and knocking new developments out willy-nilly. They're just flying them out like cards from Gambit's hands. They're unbelievable the way it happens. Now, Cemu, my god, the last one that we looked at was 1.5, and then I did a little update in my last news program saying that 1.5.1. Well, in the next 24 hours, it's been on firm stance, in fact it's been promised, that they will be releasing 1.5.2. Now, it sounds like a little leap forward, But what they've brought into this little point 2 of an update is absolutely outstanding. Now, I've not seen proper real-time footage, but here is the kind of things that's happening. This is what they've released so far, of what they will be teasing you in the next release in the next 24 hours. Basically, what they've added is Mipmapping. So, in other words, it's a kind of a blurring effect. It adds texture and distance. It adds texture and distance to the rendering of the games. So in other words, here, if you can see Zelda, then you can see in the background that basically it's adding, I don't know, the depth to the actual game. It's a little improvement in terms of, you know, the way you think about it. However, when you're actually playing the games, it does bring a hell of a lot of realism back to the game and does make it look like it was back in the day. Some games it makes a huge impact, some games it doesn't, but it's way forward and it brings it all to the table. Now, the other huge development that they brought forward is they've been working tirelessly trying to fix lots of bugs, lots of glitches, and to make more games playable. One of the games that they have made now playable is probably the landmark game, and that is Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U. By God, it's the same with every Nintendo emulator. If you can get that emulated, you've made it. That's the way it works. And here, this is what they've released today as footage of them playing Super Smash Bros. Now, from the looks of it, yes, it doesn't look like it's 100%. However, if you've been experimenting with this, I mean, I myself, I could not get this game to boot, so it looks like it was one of those, yes, it's there, but it's not booting. But now it looks like it is booting, which means that all they need to do now is focus on the glitches, the bugs, and all that kind of stuff. And to be honest, with the leaps and bounds that they're making recently, the next major update that will be now playable. Playable in terms of the way we've been enjoying, I don't know, Mario 3D World and an awful lot of the games that they've been working tirelessly on to add compatibility to. So hats off to those. Same you guys, you're doing us proud. Right then. Front-end news. Again, why do we always cover the same things over and over? But this is because certain guys working on certain emulators, certain guys working on certain front ends and stuff, they are putting in the hours. And one of the big ones I need to talk about again is Launchbox. I only covered this on my last one, but basically the leaps and bounds that they were making on the last video that I showed you guys, they've now come to fruition. They are now opened up into the full 6.2 release. So it's no longer a beta or beta, whatever you call it. It's now a full official release. And they've added a few more features too. Basically, there's new themes, new layouts, as you can see here. There's all kinds of new wheel views, cover flow effects that's going on, and he's showed off quite a lot of the effects in there. Again, I'll put links in the description down below so you can fill your boots and look into all these things in a lot more detail. But he doesn't just stop there. Less than 24 hours ago, he had another live development session, which means that he was taking more of your ideas and bringing them live into fruition. So the betas are constantly evolving, and every time he does something like this, something new is brought to the table. So I can't blow his trumpet enough, even at this early stage, in terms of how young this front end is compared to some of the more mature ones out there. Is already blowing things out of the water. So only good things can happen to this, to be honest. Okay, and now onto something I didn't really want to be talking about, especially in this, well, it's been quite a joyful video so far. It's all been good news. But unfortunately, somebody in their own wisdom has decided to try and make some more money out of this scene. Now, I've been approached by a guy who's given me some quite damning evidence to suggest that a very reputable arcade company, in other words, a company which makes arcades, supplies them to many, you know, top tier events, who does quite a lot of work in the scene and represents quite a lot of people. They've been found to be in partnership with a hard drive seller. In other words, these people who sell the pre-configured hyperspin drives, why do people still bother with this crap? He's been found to be in cahoots with them. Oh, I really do hope this isn't true. I really do hope. I've contacted all parties involved. I'm going to get to the bottom of it, see what's going on, and see if this really is true, because I can't believe it. I mean, this company has been in business for many years now, many years, and they've made quite the footprint on the scene. Now, if this is found to be happening, and they really are in partnership with one of these shady sellers who find it in their wisdom to, I don't know, sell other people's work, sell AAA games, sell, you know, some quite dubious stuff on their hard drives, not to mention the kind of shady tactics that's gone on in the past. Well, it can only turn my eyebrows down to it, let's say the least to that. So I'll be touching base with you very soon to see what actually has been going on, to see what kind of information has been leaked, and to see if anybody will respond to this kind of stuff. But yeah, that's that for now. I don't really want to too much detail until I've got any concrete stuff to actually deal out to you guys. But anyway, in the meantime, let's get back to some fun stuff. The emulators are coming on leaps and bounds. The front ends are massive. In the near future, I'm going to be releasing obviously the video, which I've been promising for some time now, which is my first stage of the arcade build. That is all done. It's all done, and I'm loving it, to be honest. Loving my arcade. I'm just happy I didn't buy it from this apparently reputable arcade seller at the end of the day. But yeah, I've been loving it, so it's just a case of me editing all the footage together, putting it into some kind of system that you guys can understand, and to help you and aid you. Not only to see what I've come up with, but to help you actually build your own in real time. I've gone through the process of actually going back to every nut and bolt that I've used in this. I mean, I've gone into some high class detail, and I'll get you a finished price of what it would cost to make an exact replica of my kind of stuff, and I'll take you through each stage of it, of how I put it together, so you guys can do the exact same stuff if you do so wish. Who knows, you might find better stuff out there. But anyway guys, thank you for joining me today. Please like, please subscribe, please do all the things that people normally do on this kind of YouTube shenanigans. But most of all guys, most of all, you have a good day. Laters!